practical leadership. That's what I do. I'm not going to stand in front of you and tell you a whole bunch of beautiful this and that. I'm going to tell you, practically speaking, you got to do this. Is everybody okay? We want to go to the next one? Yes. We're good? Yes. All right. Let's go. Is it break time yet? No. All right. So, how to develop leaders through a language barrier. How to develop leaders through a language barrier. Let me tell you, I have lived in enough places, I have worked in enough places where language can be a barrier. When I moved to Korea the first time, I'm working with what they call them KATUSAs, Korean augmentees to the United States Army. And they came in and all of them had a requirement to be proficient in English. And that was helpful. But not all of them had the same proficiency level. So when you're trying to get something done, you still got to lead, but now there's a language barrier. So what are you going to do? You're going to leave the team behind? Or you can't speak the language, get over there? No, you got to figure it out. And how do you do that? Can I give you 2 words? Effective communication. Effective communication. The most important part of communication is understanding. You can communicate without understanding. What? That's no, they ain't say that in the books. Yeah, you're just communicating and the person's not receiving well. But you said what you had to say. They received what they thought you said. And they acted on it. It's communication. It's just poor communication. It's not effective. Here's another saying that you'll love. I know you think you heard what I said. But what you heard is what you think I said. Do I need to say that again? I know you think you heard what I said. But what you heard is what you think I said. And that's the killer of communication. So I'm going to tell a story. I already prepped my wife. She already knows I'm telling this story. So she and I were very young in our relationship. Now, I think both of us kind of knew we were the ones, but when you're young, you hem and haw, right? So I was about to go on a field training exercise. And I turn to her and I say, do you need any money? And she said, yes. So I said, how much? And she said, I'm not going to tell you. So I said, well, something broke down. Do you need any money? Yes. How much? I'm not going to tell you. And we went back and forth, back and forth. Needless to say, my money stayed in my pocket. Right? Watch this. Communication, that's what we're on, right? Years later, not the next day, years later, my wife comes to me and she says, hey, you remember that time we had this conversation and you said this and I said this? I said, yeah. She said, I thought the word need was have. Now fit the conversation. Do you need, she hears, have any money? Yes. How much? I'm not telling you how much money I have because I ain't trying to give it to you. That is the importance of effective communication. Maybe if I would have just given her some money, that might have helped. Maybe if I could have reworded my question, that might have helped. But the reality is, did we communicate? We did communicate, but it was poor communication. Because I asked a question, she answered the question multiple times. But it just wasn't, we didn't communicate effectively. If you want to lead through a language barrier, you have to communicate effectively. And that means you can't assume. Because, I learned the Korean language, right? But I don't know the Korean language like she does. So there might be 10 words to say, where are you going? There might be 10 ways to say it. You know, let's do hi. In America, right? What up? How's it going, man? What they do? These are all just hi. That's it. That's really what it means. It just means I'm acknowledging your presence. But when you're learning another language, usually you just know one, maybe two words for that you can translate. So somebody walks up to someone who doesn't know very much English and they say, hey man, what you putting down, my boy? I'm not putting anything down, right? Because you don't understand so it's important to be willing to say things differently, try to use as much common language as you can, but you have to remember, if you're going to lead through a language barrier, effective communication is the number one way to go.